Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Today I will be doing part 1 of a 5-part series that I am starting. It is a beginning of 2018 slash end of 2017 Smash 4 tier list. And part 1 is going to be the bottom tiers, who I consider to be the worst in the game. Now, before I start, I have to say a couple things. One, I'm not going to be including the Mii fighters, so don't even worry about them. They're not real characters. They don't even deserve to be on the tier list. And two, this is entirely my opinion, so be sure to tell me in the comments how wrong I am about all of this. Alright, so who I consider to be the worst character in the game is King Dedede. Now, King Dedede is very large and slow and has a huge hurt box, which puts him automatically lower on the list. He doesn't have as many tools in his kit as a lot of the characters do. He has some nice ledge traps, I'll give him that, but like other than that, he doesn't have anything. He doesn't have a very good combo game. He's very slow on the ground and in the air. His moves come out very slowly. F Smash being a perfect example. It has a really, really long startup and a lot of end lag. And all of his moves just come out generally slow, and they're very easy to punish. He has a large hurt box, which makes him easier to combo. Uh, and he's really slow, so he can't catch up to faster people such as Fox or Diddy Kong, and he can't catch up to them and hit them, which is what he's designed to do. He's designed to hit like a bus, which he does. I'll give him that. To his merit, he hits really, really hard. But if you can't hit anyone, what's the point of hitting hard? So that's why he's the worst in the game. Now, second worst, you all saw this coming, is Jigglypuff. Now, Jigglypuff, a lot of people consider to be the worst in the game. I play as Jigglypuff, and I will preach up and down that she isn't the worst. She's the second worst, but she isn't the worst. Jigglypuff does not have very many tools. She is not. She's more mobile than King Dedede, which is why I put her above Dedede. She's quicker than Dedede and her attacks come out faster. So that's why I put her above Dedede. But she's very light. You could blow on her and she'll die. But her aerials hit relatively hard. Not as hard as they did in Melee. Uh, but they hit relatively hard. And rest is always fun to pull on people. Next up is Ganondorf. Now, Ganondorf, a lot of people consider to be bottom tier, myself included, even though I play Ganondorf a lot. I keep Ganondorf as one of my secondaries, but even I have to acknowledge that he isn't a good character. He's slow and big, just like King Dedede, but to me, he hits harder than King Dedede and kills earlier, and his moves have a lot less startup and end lag. His aerials hit harder, in my opinion, and I've just seen a lot more people do good with Ganondorf than I have with King Dedede. Ganondorf has more tools. He has Ganonside. He has better aerials than Dedede, which is why I put him above Dedede. He has some. His aerials don't come out as fast as they probably should, but they come out relatively fast for a heavy. But he's still not very good. His recovery is terrible. Horizontally and vertically, and he dies very easily because of it. But Ganonside's fun, so whatever. Next on the list, I am putting. If I can find her. Next on the list, I'm putting Zelda. Now, Zelda has a lot of the same problems that Ganondorf and Dedede have. She's a larger character. She's one of the largest. She's the probably the female with the largest hurt box in the game, other than maybe like Palutena. She isn't very fast, but her aerials do come out faster than a lot of the other bottom tiers, like DDD and Ganondorf. Fair and Bear and Dare kill really early if you hit the sweet spot, but it's hard to hit, so. And Din's Fire is trash. It is useless. It is the most easily predictable, easily dodgeable, easily punishable move in the entire game. Like, if not move, then easily punishable, easily predictable, easily dodgeable projectile, if not the worst move in the game. Then she's slow. Her recovery isn't that great. Her up B is a pretty reliable kill move, but like it doesn't go that high. You can't get too deep with her. I take it back. Her recovery is pretty good, but her up B is a pretty reliable kill move. She can kill relatively early if you hit the sweet spot on her aerials, but she's slow and her moves come out slow, and she's just not that good. Now, next on the list, I'm putting Little Mac, and I'm putting Little Mac here even though way back in the day, way before even before Smash for Wii U came out, during the 3DS era, I made Little Mac. Now, even though I have a special place in my heart for Little Mac, I have to acknowledge that he isn't a very good character. His recovery is his biggest flaw. His recovery is the worst in the entire game by a long shot. I said Ganondorf's recovery was bad. If Ganondorf's is bad, then Little Mac's is complete garbage. Nothing can save it. Little Mac's recovery is the worst in the game, horizontally and vertically. Also, his air game is garbage. He can't do anything in the air. All of his aerials do less than 10% per hit. His ground game is ridiculous. On the ground, he is unstoppable. He has super armor on his smash attacks. He has decent combo game on the ground at least. And KO Punch is a monster. But in the air, he is worthless. So that's why I put him so low on the list. Next up on the list, let's see here. Next on the list, I have to put Charizard. Now, originally I had Mac above Charizard, but after looking at it up and down, putting all things into account, putting all my biases aside, I have to say Charizard is better than Little Mac for several reasons. Even though he has a larger hurt box and isn't very fast, he has decent frame data on all of his moves except like F Smash, but like not a lot of people are going to use Charizard's F Smash anyways. He has a better recovery than Mac. He has multiple jumps. Flare Blitz is ridiculous if you can hit it. All of his aerials come out relatively fast and actually do things, so that's why I put him above Mac. And on the ground, he hits harder than Mac, but I would say Mac's ground game is better just because he's quicker. And doesn't get comboed as easily as Charizard because Charizard's a larger character. So Charizard is low on the tier list, but not as bad as others. Next on the tier list, I'm going to put Shulk. Now, Shulk is this low on the tier list because personally, I have pretty bad experiences with Shulk. Shulk is an aggravating character to play against, and a boring character to play against, to be honest. Now, this is more of a bias thing. Shulk probably isn't this bad, but Shulk's still pretty bad. He doesn't have a lot of tools. Monado Arts is the only thing that is his only saving grace. All Shulk can really do is just nair around everywhere, and that's not fun to deal with or to do. all Shulk can really do is Nair, and all of his aerials are alright. Uh, they all basically act the same, except maybe like down air and up air. And down air and up air are basically the same, just in different directions. But fair, bear, and nair are all basically the same moves, but just go different directions. Um, so Shulk isn't very agile on his own unless you have speed Monado. His recovery isn't the best unless you have jump Monado. He dies pretty early unless you have shield Monado. Do you see the pattern here? He needs his Monado to be able to do anything. And all of his Monados have a downside. Like shield makes it to where you deal less damage. Jump makes it to where you deal less damage and die earlier, I believe. Smash makes it to where you do less damage. You do less percent, but more knockback. And I'm pretty sure you die at like 2% with Smash. Buster, you have like you deal a lot of damage, but like someone can blow on you and you'll probably die. Like all of his Monados have a pretty big glaring weakness. It does balance out, I would say, but all of his Monados have a pretty big glaring weakness, so none of them are really safe, other than maybe like Shield, but you can just run away from him, honestly. He's super slow in Shield. Next on the tier list, I would have to put Ike, solely because I just don't consider him to be very good. He is a slower character. Do you see the pattern yet? He's a slower character. He doesn't. His aerials are all really slow, except for maybe like Bear. Bear comes out relatively quickly. He does hit really hard. Like he kills certain people at 80% with his smash attacks. Like from the middle of the stage, it's ridiculous. But his recovery is terrible. His up B is like Kirby's, but doesn't go as high. He does have quite a few good moves, like I just said, his aerials are okay. They don't come out fast, so they're easily predictable and punishable unless you're in a combo. Speaking of combos, his combo game isn't the greatest. He's just not that good in general, speaking, technically speaking. Now, the final person for this video on the bottom of the tier list, I would put Falco. Falco has had a rough time over the years. In Melee, he was one of the best. In Brawl, he was one of the worst. In Smash 4, he's still one of the worst. Falco has lost basically everything that made him good. His shine isn't as good. He kicks it out instead of having to like be near someone like Fox does. But it's not as good. It doesn't like send people up as high anymore. His recovery has been drastically shat on, so to speak. His recovery, despite being a freaking bird, isn't good. His up B doesn't go as high as Fox's, ironically. He doesn't jump as high as Fox, I'm pretty sure. His moves aren't the best. His dare used to be a weapon of mass destruction, and now it comes out really slow and has a really precise hitbox for a spike. Like I said, Shine doesn't do much either. His side B might spike, but it doesn't spike very far, and you have to have your opponent at like 150, 160% to send him straight down into the abyss with no hopes of getting back up. Anything earlier than that, and they'll probably recover. His neutral B, despite still being kind of OP, comes out a lot slower than it did in past games. It has a lot of startup. His up smash is pathetic. It does near nothing. His forward smash is okay, but has a pretty long startup and a lot of end lag, so you can punish it easily. The only good things about him are basically Nair and, to an extent, neutral B. His Nair actually racks up a lot of percent. And maybe like down tilt, but other than that. His Nair actually does quite a bit of percent. Like that one hit, if you get all of the hits of Nair, I think it does like around like 10 to 15%. I don't know, I don't play as Falco, but it does around 10 to 15% if you get all the hits off. His forward air is hard to hit, but I guess if you do hit it, it'll be okay. His back air is actually pretty good. Um, his back air comes out fast and hits decently hard. I've gotten killed by it before, sadly. But other than that, his down tilt is okay. It's a good combo starter. I'll give it that. His up tilt is good at racking up damage at low percents and is a decent combo starter. But overall, his weaknesses largely outweigh his strengths, in my opinion, and that's why he's on the bottom tier. So that's going to be it for today. Sometime in the near future, maybe tomorrow or in like 2 days, I'll do the low tiers. But for now, it's been Sausage SSB signing off.